Welcome to Graceway Community Church. I'm the pastor, Steve Daly, and we're honored to be able to host this concert. It's really an attempt to broaden interest and awareness of Hannah's House, which you'll be hearing more about, and you'll also be hearing about Keith's Family Resource Center. But we really are excited to hear the music tonight of Curry and Tommy. I've heard them before, and they're wonderful. And we're going to have a little help from Angela. She's going to be singing with them some too. But it's just an informal time together. We hope you really enjoy the music and enjoy what you hear about these community service programs. There's refreshments in the other room. Feel free to wander back and forth. If you do get a drink, we want you to keep a lid on it. Thanks for remembering that. And we're not going to pass an offering plate or anything. I'll be sitting in the back. If people want to make donations to either Hannah's House or to Keys, and if you want a tax deduction, then if it's cash, we'll take down your information. If it's a check, that will probably have information on it. But we just want to make sure everybody gets their tax deductible receipts. And we thank you so much for coming, and we just really hope you enjoy the evening. There'll be 3 short sets of music, and Dr. Craig Turley will be sharing after the first one. Angela will be sharing after the second one, and you're welcome to just stick around, ask questions, and enjoy yourself. So thanks again for coming. We'll start with our music.
This is gospel blues, and those of you who have listened to blues understand that it talks about hard times, and there are a lot of country music talks about hard times too, but blues in kind of a special way. And this first song talks about it, how it seems to be just about everywhere. People having hard times. Blues in the paper, in the magazine, on your radio, up on the TV screen. Everywhere you turn, you're looking at sad news. Seems like the whole world's got the blues.
Whole world's got the blues.
Blues in the morning, all through the night. Went to see my doctor, everything's alright. I can't shake the feeling, no matter what I do.
No matter what I do.
Whole world's got the blues.
The whole world's got the blues.
Went to church on Sunday, lay my burden down. Not a single soul was smiling, everybody wore a frown. When the preacher spoke of hard times, got an amen from every pew. Seems like the whole world has got the blues.
Whole world's got the blues.
Blues on the border and in the Middle East, creeping up your alleyways and even on Wall Street. People, what's going on? How can we break this suffering spell? Pray we're gonna make it, only time will tell. rolling round midnight, can't get to sleep. There's hope for the future, it's gonna take a quantum leap. Can't shake that feeling, people, do you feel it too? Feels like the whole world's got the blues.
Whole world's got the blues.
Seems like the whole world got the blues.
Whole world's got the blues.
Seems like the whole world's got the blues. Got the Thank you. I get Janelle to sing a little more on this song here. I've been singing this song for about 50 years. I think I know it a little, kind of well. This, I think, is the response to the blues. We can't avoid it. Christians get the blues. I mean, to say you accept Jesus and you're not going to have any sad times is unrealistic. But you got somebody with you that knows the blues very deeply, and that is Jesus. And having him walk with us is the thing that makes all the difference. I want Jesus to walk with me. I want Jesus to walk with me. All along life's pilgrim journey, I want Jesus begin, would you? In my trials, walk with me. When I'm troubled, walk with me. When my head is bound in sorrow, I want Jesus to walk with me. I want Jesus to walk with me. I want Jesus to walk with me. All along life's pilgrim journey, I want Jesus to walk with me. I want Jesus to walk with me. I want Jesus to walk with me. Thank you.
Okay, we're back. Thank you, gentlemen. So they're going to take a seat, and I'm going to call our guest up, Dr. Craig Turley. Got his doctorate in theology, and he studies the Second Temple period history. That's his specialty. And we had a great conversation last week, and I did record it on Zoom, so look for that in the YouTube channel, on the Keys YouTube channel soon. But without much more ado, I'll just hand it over to you.
For being here tonight and being a part of the concert, benefit concert. I want to say thanks to Pastor Steve and all of you for allowing us the privilege of coming in here and talking about our program. Pastor Steve and I go way back. We just did some calculation in the back, and we were involved with prayer work in the general area here, still am, actually, with National Prayer Movement, and met Pastor Steve. We were praying at La Sierra campus back 30 years ago. And then we found out that they were shutting down Cal Baptist University. There wasn't enough people attending. And we moved over to Cal Baptist. We prayed there for about 3 years until Greg Ellis came in and started kind of revamping the school. And a year after they did that, we actually found out they had a special recognition, kind of a service, a celebration time at the school, because God had turned the whole thing around. And one of the, and nobody would pray at this, by the way, from the school. They just, 5 of us were on campus there for about 3 years. And then they had this celebration ceremony, and one of the business director there, department, Dr. Jabs, got up and he said, "Hold it a minute." He says, "I want you to know something." And he told the backstory of how there's 5 people praying on that campus for 3 years that God would turn that school around. And God did, and now Cal Baptist is a wonderful institution along with La Sierra. But it took people praying to make that happen, and a lot of that was on the just the work that Pastor Steve was doing in the community. So let's give our brother a real hand for all of his work. It goes way beyond pastoring the Graceway Church here and other things that he's done. So anyway, a number of years ago, back 25 years ago, we started the Blessing Center. We're an organization working with the Matthew 25 mandate. When I was hungry, you fed me. Naked, you clothed me. When I was sick, you came to me. When I was a prisoner, you visited me. We do all of that and have done that for a number of years. And then about 4 or 5 years ago, or actually 14 years ago, we started Hannah's House of Hope. And that's a program that's working with unwed mothers and single women with children. And so we provide a housing program for single women with children in the greater Redlands area along with San Bernardino County. And so we're in an expansion program right now. We turn down approximately 1 to 2 requests a day. And these are mothers with children that are living in cars and motels. Unified School District in Redlands alone, there are 3,000 students in that district alone that are considered sheltered homeless by the McKinney-Vento federal definition. Those in cars, living in cars, motels, couch surfing, permanent camping, or 2 or 3 families under one roof are all considered sheltered homeless. Thank God there's not a lot of kids on the street sidewalk. But we take the mothers in. We have a 2-year program, 1 to 2 year program. It's elongated now because it's really hard to exit moms that don't have the income. Landlords want 2 to 3 times income. So if the rent is $2,000 a month, if you can find it, they want to see $6,000 a month in income, and that's really hard for a single mom with 2 or 3 children. So we work very hard and we pray really hard. Miracle story, in about 2 weeks, we're exiting a mom with 3 children. She got a job as a manager for a mobile home park in Yucaipa, and her housing is included. So she has a free place to live and getting paid for it. So those are miracle stories. So we do a lot of work. We have a lot of wraparound programs. My wife is a facilitator for the Trench program, which is the program in-house. And the Trench series deals with the roots of denial, the roots of anger, the roots of unforgiveness. And these very intensive programs really assist the moms to work internally, and we then work with them externally, working with income enhancement opportunities to get them better employment and revenue. I'd like my wife to stand up in the back. Kim, would you just raise your hand, stand up? Kim, my wonderful wife, is with me tonight, and she handles the Trench program. So anyway, we have a short little video to show you with one of our moms. This is Elizabeth. She came into the program, this is about 2 years ago, and exited. So we're going to see Elizabeth on screen here talking about Hannah's House of Hope. Very happy here at Hannah's House of Hope to have a new resident. Her name is Elizabeth. She has 3 children, wonderful young lady. We're very excited about the prospects of her just moving into a new season of her life, a new chapter here at Hannah's House of Hope. Very thankful for the privilege we have of serving her with a loving, caring environment, a beautiful facility, and then the kinds of programs at Hannah's House of Hope.
My name is Elizabeth Mendez. I had gotten married last year, and shortly after getting married, I found out that my husband was doing meth and heroin. It was a really awful situation. I had to go into hiding. That was my breaking point. Everything that had happened with my ex-husband and acknowledging areas in my life that I've suppressed over the years. And that's when I started just turning to God and let Him do what He needs to do in me. So since then, I've just been focusing on healing and getting better and just getting my children and I into a place where we're gonna be okay on our own. And this is my first step. My living situation before Hannah's house was, very toxic. But since I've come to Hannah's house, I haven't had that feeling, and I've had so much peace. I couldn't believe that it was happening. Like, it didn't seem real at first. So you're telling me I'm going to be able to live in this home with my kids, and just be at peace, and we're just going to be this family, and we're going to set our own rules, we're going to have, our standards and everything. I just couldn't believe, this was really happening. Being able to just really bask in what God is doing right now in mine and my children's lives is very liberating. never seen another program uniquely and specifically designed to help mothers like me and our children. Like the people that are behind Hannah's house, they actually care about the mothers that come in here, they care about the children that come in here, and they care about our future. My plan from when I leave Hannah's house is, to be on my own with my kids in our own place somewhere. And I plan on help other moms who've been in the same situation as I've been or who need help. I'm so thankful for it, and I plan on giving back to this organization. If Hannah's house wasn't an option, I'd be very lost right now.
That was about 2.5 years ago, and Elizabeth now is married and has her family with her, stays in touch, as most of our mothers do actually. After they exit the program, they usually stay in contact with us. We've done a very huge build out in the back. We have called the garden at Hannah's house, and we have animals. We have therapy animals, goats and chickens and ducks and sheep and pigs, and the pigs just had a litter a few weeks ago, little piglets there, and the kids love those therapy animals. And then we have the grow boxes where we teach the kids how to get their hands in the soil and grow. They don't love that quite as much. Watching, zucchinis grow isn't exciting, but watching the animals is very exciting, and they love the animals, so we're expanding all that. So we have a huge expansion program ready to go. We're, right now we have 2 properties. We want to consolidate them. And in the back, 1 acre, a little over an acre, we're building out 6 manufactured housing units, each one having 4 bedrooms. That's 24 more mothers we can have on site. We use a 2.3 multiplier. That's 30 moms total with 70 children. That's 100 people in a community environment called Hannah's Village. So Hannah's house is becoming Hannah's Village. It's about a $2.5 million project. We have a resident manager's house going in. That's 7 units and 2 modulars, 1 for daycare, 1 for multi-purpose. In fact, my wife and I were heading out to meet with our congressman, who is Pete Aguilar. He's from Redlands. He's a friend. And we're going to be talking with him and some staff about helping us get the funding for that. Governor Newsom is putting out a lot of money. I don't agree with all of his policies, but he is putting money toward homelessness. And we hope to be able to have a letter from our congressman to him, and from there we're hoping to get the funding we need to get this built out. So we're going to see another video clip right here, and this shows another, it's a friend of mine actually, US Modular, a friend of mine, Abe Ferreira. They've done a lot of projects using manufactured housing. You know what manufactured housing is, right? Very high quality build out, not mobile homes. They're very substantial. A very low carbon footprint. They're all green. They're wonderful products, and we're going to be using those. In fact, they're recommended by the state is one of the foremost avenues for housing is using manufactured housing. So you're going to see a program here with another organization. I think it's in La Habra somewhere, but it'll give you an idea of how we're going to do the build out for our project called Hannah's Village.
Today is a beautiful sunshiny day in Canoga Park, where 4 beautiful young ladies and their families will soon have brand new homes, thanks to New Economics for Women.
Yeah, 4 homes in 4 hours. That's amazing. That's amazing. It used to be they could get those built in about 3, or I should say, they still build them in about 2 months in factory. But it was that you could get it on a placement ordered, and it would be deliverable in 72 days. Now it's out about 8 months because a lot of people want this type of construction. So when we put our order in, about 8 months after that, we'll be able to lock them in place. The ground is being prepared right now. So we're just going back to try to get that money to get this all done. So that's our story. Love to have a question or two before I sit down, if anybody has any input or anything like to share about our program at all. Yes, sir.
I'm new, but what is the name Hannah?
Hannah's, yeah, Hannah is the mother of Samuel. Remember, she had no children. And then so that we use Hannah's house to denote a mother that comes with nothing or has nothing, and then becoming very fruitful because she gave birth to, of course, Samuel, who was one of the greatest prophets, and of course anointed David to be king of Israel. So, and Judah. So Hannah is that woman who comes out from underneath, you know, the kind of hard conditions that she was in, and barrenness, and then she was made to be very fruitful. So that's what we call a Hannah. The other house, Deborah, in the Bible is kind of an empowered woman. Deborah, of course, was able to be one of the judges. Only a few women were actually judges of Israel, and she was one of those women that was empowered to take a stand and to really, you know, rise to a level of authority and leadership in Israel. So that's why the two houses.
Oh, let me give you the mic so that we're broadcasting. Okay, what's the question?
The trench class is a program that we use, and it's 64 lessons, 8 sessions apiece. So there's 64 divided into 8. Each trench has 8 classes, and we use that as the core component in the program. It's a faith-based program, and it deals with the core issues of, like I said, denial, dealing with that, or unforgiveness, or anger, and they go through these 8 sessions. So we bring the women in, and the Wednesday night program has to do with internal conflicts and dealing with the root issues of why.
You'd say it was comfortable to celebrate recovery?
Yes, sort of, but it's not necessarily directed toward addiction issues other than some maybe internal addictions, but not drug addictions. Our program, we don't have any substance abuse women in our program at all. Okay, we're only working with children and their mother. Our focus is on children. That's why in our material it'll say we're dealing with children, homeless children and mothers, because we feel in the biblical economy, it's orphans, fatherless children, you know, and widows, and then strangers in that order. So those are the most vulnerable, the neediest, those that hurt the most, suffer the most, get the most. And that's why we put children first. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Anything else?
What does Christmas look like?
Amazing for our kids, because this last Christmas we had the surgical team at Kaiser, the nurses. They raised money, and they raised like $7,000, and we were able to buy passes to Universal Studio for all year for all of our families and their kids. And they got to take a wonderful trip to Universal Studios. Last year, they raised about $5,000, and all of our families and their kids and everybody went to Disneyland, which is you got to take out a small loan to go to Disneyland now. I mean, you got to like mortgage something. But they raised all this money, and they sent them to Disneyland. This year, they got them annual passes, which they just couldn't believe. And then we put on events, and we have these lit up fire trucks and Santa, and our kids really, in fact, they don't want to leave. They love it so much. But we do a lot for our children. You know, and the thought there is, there's a Jewish principle, and it's called gladdening the heart. And when we ran our food bank, we had 6,000 families in our food bank program, 2 million pounds of food a year. And it's 22 different cities. They came from Barstow, from Victorville, Paris, all around. We did a good job feeding those families, providing the kind of food they needed. Every week they would come. It would have been merciful for us just to park pallets of food in the parking lot. But that's not tender mercy. So we filled those boxes and walked into the car. And then we had our runners, we called them, say, what more can I do for you? How can I help? And it's about gladdening the heart. It's not enough just to give someone the food, but they need to leave with a gladdened heart. And so when you meet a need, you need to meet it that way. It's not enough to give residency, but it's the love and the caring and the support that we give that gladdens the heart to where when kids leave, they don't want to leave. Because we're not a shelter. We're in a loving, caring environment where we restore just the internal mechanisms of self-confidence and self-esteem, self-respect, and the sense of being loved. And that's why we do what we do, gladdening the heart.
I have a question. Do you have events that are open to the public?
All the time, yeah.
When's your next one?
Yeah, well, Hannah's House of Hope and our garden at Hannah's House is always open. And so we have an Earth Day launch coming up. We have a spring launch, Earth Day. We coordinate it with Earth Day. And we have a lot of support from the University of Redlands and a lot of people in the community. And we have therapy grow boxes, and they're all ready to go by then. And the community comes, and it's a big event. It's like a wonderful time together for our families to get to know the community a little bit more, and for the kids to get out in the grow boxes, and then we showcase the animals and all that we do. So that's coming up. We have events, throughout the year. Which other ones? Thank you. Hike for Hope, that's another event we do. We have a hike in the Prospect Park. I don't know if you know Redlands, but they have beautiful Prospect Park. And we have heroes, so they meet with firemen, policemen, first responders, nurses, doctors, teachers, and they walk the walk, and they have an empty swag bag, and the kids go by, and the doctors put stuff in there, and the firemen put stuff in there, and the end of the thing, we have a big awards banquet up at Burridge Mansion. It's a beautiful location, and the kids get bikes. It's fun. Golf tournament, and then the big gala that we do every fall season around October, November. So we have a full year of events, full year of activities that we do. Not just fundraisers, but they're fundraisers. We try to let people have fun, and not necessarily looking for donations, but just having fun with people in the community.
So your calendar is on your website, which is?
Our website is theblessingcenterredlands.org. Theblessingcenterredlands.org. Easy to find.
Right. Great. Okay, so that's good. Hi. All right, thank you very much. Very interesting. We'll bring him up a little later in the program. Gentlemen, we're on.
I want to go. Take me in.
Sounds fun, doesn't it? For the young and young at heart.
As walking down the Christian path, we want to keep our eyes on the prize. This song is the same tune as Keep Your Hand on the Plow. If you're familiar with Mahalia Jackson or Sister Rosetta Thorpe, or some of the people that used to sing that song, this is the same tune. It's taken from civil rights people. Some of the verses are obvious. I think freedom is very closely akin to love, and spirit. Our pastor today, Pastor Steve, was talking about the true spirit, the good spirit, the right spirit, and the false spirit. And I think in the spirit is love, truth, life, and freedom. I don't know what order you would put those, but freedom is definitely in there. And if you don't have that, your soul is definitely going to suffer. And some of the verses in this song talk about that. Your eyes on the prize. Paul and Silas bound to jail, had no money to go their bail. Keep your eyes on the prize. Hold on, hold on, hold on. Keep your eyes on the prize. Hold on, hold on, hold on. Keep your eyes on the prize. Hold on. Paul and Silas began to shout. Doors popped open and they all walked out. Keep your eyes on the prize. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Keep your eyes on the prize. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Keep your eyes on the prize. Hold on. Only chains we can stand are the chains of hand in hand. Keep your eyes on the prize. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Keep your eyes on the prize. Hold on. Got my hand on the freedom plow. I won't take nothing for my journey now. Keep my eyes on the prize. Hold on, hold on. Keep your eyes on the prize. Hold on, hold on, hold on. Keep your eyes on the prize. Hold on. Keep your eyes. In the spirit of tenacity, we've got don't you ever let nobody turn you around. You know, there are a lot of things that can go wrong in your life. You can have the blues, that's okay. But don't ever take your eyes off Jesus. You might slip, you might slide, you might stumble and fall by the roadside, but don't you ever let nobody drag your spirit down.
Don't ever let nobody drag your spirit down.
Remember we're walking up to heaven. might say things strange to you. I might preach a gospel, I believe that it's true. And I'm not gonna let nobody drag my spirit down.
Don't let nobody drag your spirit down.
Remember, we're walking up to heaven. Don't let nobody turn you around. I might slip, you might slide, you might stumble and fall by the roadside. But don't you ever let nobody drag your spirit down.
Don't ever let nobody drag your spirit down.
As we're walking up to heaven, don't let nobody turn you around.
Turning round and round and round.
Remember, we're walking up to heaven. Don't let nobody turn you around.
Turning round and round and round and round and round.
Don't let nobody turn you around. Don't let nobody turn you around. Remember, we're walking up to heaven. Don't let nobody turn you around.
Thank you, Curry. A soulful voice. Tommy, I'm going to give a hand to the looper, also a member of the band. And give some love to Chuck in the back. I always count the audiovisual team as one of the band. Amen. All right, so I don't want this thing to run too late, but I just want to share a few thoughts with you today and give Chuck a minute to switch things around. Do you want me to have the iPad or you've got it? Okay, all right. So I put together a very short little presentation today, very simple, just black and white, a little red. And if you have a smartphone, feel free to get it out. I'm going to just move this. Get out your smartphone because I have some QR codes. One of my favorite things. We were talking about how even COVID has silver linings, yeah? And one thing that was going out of fashion, out of use, and I was very sad about it, was QR codes. But because of COVID, now everyone's using QR codes again, and that makes me very happy. Thanks. Cool. All right, so Chuck is this wizard, man. He just makes it happen. I just appreciate him so much. All right, so you can get out your smartphones if you want to and scan the QR codes that are coming up. Just wanted to share a little bit of my background. I'm seeing some new faces, fresh faces. Thank you so much for coming tonight. Your time is precious, and I'm grateful that you're spending it here with us this evening. So, keeping education your strength is how we get the acronym KEYS. And it's a family resource center that Pastor Steve started in 2001, back when he was pastoring at a place in Garden Grove. And he called me up a couple years later and asked if I would be interested. And before he finished the sentence, I'm like, yes, whatever it is, let's do it. You know, I met Pastor Steve when he was the chaplain at La Sierra, what is now La Sierra University. It was 1980 something. But I always loved the way he was so supportive with the drama ministries, and he would even get involved in them sometimes, get on the stage with us kids. And he just, he was a really, hip chaplain. He was very cool. And so we always somehow managed to stay in each other's orbit, and he hired me to run the No Buts program. But I'll get to that in a moment. That's just a bit of the history. So I worked for him then, and now I'm back in a little different role. So this is how we get keys, Keys, and a QR code. Look at that. So I'm very happy to announce I launched our website today. Before it was keysfrc.godaddysite.com because it was free. But I pulled out our little debit card today and I started the payment. So now we're a real bona fide website, keysfrc.org. Believe me, I tried everything else. This is all I could get. So if you scan that code, it'll take you to our website. So Pastor Steve and I brainstormed and we put this together. It's an organic mission statement. If some of you folks have ideas of little changes to make, we're open to that. Educating and empowering communities to raise their quality of life through science, storytelling, and song, thereby increasing happiness, holistic wellness, and hope. So this is the first program that I did down in Garden Grove. You just call 800-NO-BUTS, and you give your address for your home and or your workplace, and you would be given the contact information for someone in your area. Orange County was divided into 4 regions, and I was in charge of the region that was, Garden Grove down to Fountain Valley, up around to kind of just that area. And my responsibility was to deliver 5 services in 4 languages. So this was a blast for me because some of you may know I lived in Vietnam for 2 years, and it's my favorite food, and the best food in the world is in Garden Grove. So I loved having an office there in Garden Grove. And there was a community center that had already been contracted by my predecessor to deliver the stop smoking programs in Vietnamese. And of course, Spanish was all over the place. The epicenter of the Spanish community was really Santa Ana, and that wasn't in my region. I had the little Saigon just down the street from my office in one direction, and the other direction I had little Koreatown with the social centers there. But what was interesting is that up to that point, no one had reached out to the Korean community at all. There were no services offered by No Buts in Korean. And so I connected prayerfully. I said, Lord, lead me to just the right person. So one day I was walking into Staples, and there were 2 women standing in the parking lot chatting in Korean. I was like, oh. Lord, if they're still there, when I come back out, she's the one. They're the ones. So I went in, took care of my errand, came back out. They were still there because I picked up my business cards. So I handed her my business card, and I said, this is what I do. I'd really like it if we could, work together. So she became my health educator. I trained her in the materials. She took charge of recruiting the kids and other people, and they translated everything into Korean, and they created brochures. And I even hired a guy to start like an educational video in Korean. So that was a lot of fun. I want to relaunch this. But of course, my passion when I started my master's in public health was with the geopolitics of tobacco, right? Really juicy topic, okay? And in Vietnam, you got the Minister of Agriculture fighting the Minister of Health and so forth. Very interesting topic. But my interest expanded more into addiction. And now we're looking at fentanyl, a lot of it coming from China through Mexico into the US, and I don't need to tell you what a problem that is. I understand that, what underlies all addictions is basically the same thing. So it's not about the tobacco, it's not about the cigarette, it's about what's going on underneath that. So I would like to relaunch this program and add languages such as Cantonese, Arabic, and Thai, because I'm not really sure what's out there. I haven't done a lot of research, but in my Thai community in New York, there's not a lot going on in the Thai language. So as you can see, edutainment, educational entertainment, is really a big part of what I do. I very reluctantly started getting into being a solo performer. I used to sing in church in the choir, and I never imagined that I'd ever be a soloist, much less a jazz singer in New York City. What a blast. In the course of my college, I made friends with Christopher Robinson, who could not make it tonight, but he created this video. A little backstory to him, he's going to be partnering with us. He got a master's in educational counseling, but before he finished his undergrad, he got a job reaching the hard to reach, these kids. So they were in the legal system, they were in the foster care, they had all kinds of issues going on. And one day he realized that they really didn't pay a lot of attention to the lesson, and yet they knew all the lyrics to all the hip-hop rap songs, okay? So one day he came in with a boombox, blasting a beat, and he started rapping the lesson for the day. And boy, did they sit up and take notice of that. And he said, I've got it. He went on to produce a CD of about 10 or 12 songs, totally in that style, and he wrote all the lyrics on subjects like domestic violence, addiction, teen pregnancy, and so forth. Positive, like socially positive lyrics that were still keeping it real, but not adding to the problem, not propagating the problem, right? So through his being on the morning shows and things like that, a woman approached him and said, I would like to commission you to write one more song to target children age 4 to 8. Chris was like, okay, I've been working with teens and young adults, but okay, we can do that. Tell me more about what you want me to write. And she said, I want you to write lyrics that will teach children how to resist predators. And he said, oh, okay. So he went home, he's a praying man, he prayed, he's like, how do you teach young children that age in an age-appropriate way without scaring them to death, right? So he prayed on it, and then he looked on the National Institute of Health website, and then he sat down and the lyrics just flowed. And I'd like to play that video for you right now. It's a 3-minute video. So.
Get too close. Now keep a safe distance for your protection. If they ask for help or directions, this is what you say as you walk away. Let me get a grown-up that can help you today. And if someone tries to offer you a puppy, candy, a toy, or a kitten that's fluffy, this is what you say as you walk away. First I have to check to see if it's okay. At home, school, even on the playground, you can stay safe and sound in your town. Safe and sound in our town. Safe and sound. Swimsuit covers, and you should never touch anyone there. If someone asks you to, don't you dare. If someone touches you in the wrong way, run and tell someone you trust that same day. Your body is special, it belongs to you. Keeping it safe is the thing to do. Safe and sound in our town. 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 Well, let me wrap it on up with my final list of safety tips from Cubby Chris. Never walk by yourself, never ride by yourself, never play by yourself to protect yourself. Use the wisdom of the buddy system so no one will come up missing. Always remember this rule of thumb. Never go anywhere with anyone without first checking with one of the two, the parent or teacher that's watching you. These are the rules that I found for you to be safe and sound in your town.
fade that out. So cute, right? So what I did is I printed out these lyrics, and because I connected with the Boys and Girls Club in Mount Vernon, New York, where Denzel, his dad was Denzel too, so his mom called dad Denzel and son Denzel. But anyway, he grew up in the Boys and Girls Club, and he, there's a lot of arts, and there's a Denzel Washington School of Performing Arts there now in Mount Vernon. But anyway, the kids just love to sing and dance, and so I recruited 2 boys through the Boys and Girls Club, and they learned this song and they performed it with my jazz trio. I had a piano and double bass, and they laid down the rhythm of what you hear here, and the 2 boys came up and they performed the whole thing in front of over 300 adults. The board, the supporters, the donors, and all that. The president, the CEO first told me, he goes, don't feel bad if they don't watch the kids. Like, people are networking and talking and everything. I was like, I got it. But I made the announcement. We had a wall of iPhones, and these kids were performing this song. And at the end, I was doing the chorus. I was the backup singer for these 2 boys. And at the end, I was saying, safe and sound in our town. 300 people going, safe and sound in our town. So it was a lot of fun. And what I want to do is do that again and again with different groups and get these kids together and just kind of make it a safe and sound little music project in different schools, different churches, wherever. I don't care. Boys and Girls Clubs, I'll go anywhere. So that is a part of the program that I'm wanting to do. All right, back to I'm going to whiz through these. That's so cool. So I just put a quick list: reducing risk for children, working around this video, and just teaching them confidence, teaching them boundaries, emotional management. I also work with the incarcerated, and I'm very interested in reentry programs. So, working with kids who have a loved one who's incarcerated is a really special population. So I want to reach out to them. And then for adults, really teaching the adults to teach the kids these same skills, but teaching it to them in a different, age-appropriate way. Also, nutrition. I'm really big on nutrition. Those of you who know, I make my own yogurt, and I love rebuilding my gut after I was on antibiotics for over 20 years. Outreach to anybody, schools, local neighborhood churches. Any other ideas you have, brainstorm, let me know. I have a radio show every Tuesday morning in New York from 10 to 11 on WVOX. It's been around for about 70 years. It's a local AM station that, is hosted by people from the community on a variety of topics. So my show is called Speaking of Wellness, and it's from 10 to 11 every Tuesday, which of course is 7 to 8 California time. And I've been broadcasting faithfully every week on my iPhone. I just call into the station and they patch me through. And the video that Dr. Turley and I did on Zoom will be part of a show that I will be having in a future date. I've been upscaling. One thing that I've really been doing with COVID is just hunker down and really work on my technical skills. I could use a little bit of support if some of you want to do that, if you have that gift. The donations that we run on are time, treasure, talent, these things. And if you've got a talent if you could help me with this local school district and help me get a vendor number, that'd be great. Because Pastor Steve and I met with the principal across the street, and he's good to go. Like, he's got discretionary funds that he can use to support us, and we're ready to go. We just need a vendor number. So if I could get some support with that, that would be wonderful, because I'm pretty bogged down with other stuff. Funding, we'll be applying for grants, corporations. Pastor Steve had corporate support from a number of different organizations, including Chase Bank and just a bunch of other people. So that's about it. I just wanted to keep this brief and check out the website, keysfrc.org, and there will be some descriptions on there. You can sign up for the email list, and I'll be blasting that out more regularly moving forward. And some of you said, well, what did she say about New York? Well, I moved to New York in 2009, and my parents are still here. Just this week, they met with their lawyer, and she told my parents, you can't leave California. Your medical issues, like, California has the best benefits. It's the best state in the whole country to retire. You cannot move with your son to Nebraska. And I was like, yes. So sad for my brother, but happy for my parents, because they really need to just stay placed. They turned 80 this year, and they're both pretty fragile. And so I committed during COVID, when I really saw up close how their condition is, I committed to spending more time out here. And I'm working towards 3 to 4 months a year. I'm working up to 6 months back and forth. So that's why I called Pastor Steve and I said, hey, why don't we work together again? Because this is the work that is my passion. I love doing this work. And there's so much work to be done right here in this community. The principal of the school was telling us some of the social challenges that these children are facing. And there's somewhat of a transient population, but we can catch them right when they're here. And if they move on, at least we can plant the seeds. Our job is to plant the seeds. We're not responsible for the harvest. Amen? That's it for me. Thank you very much. Gentlemen, come on up. Let's do our last set. Thank you, everyone, for coming. Thank you so much. And I'm sure Dr. Turley will be available if you have any further questions for him. He'll be, and we'll have snacks in the back room.
I think we'll have the pastor come up after we're done with this set. We've got a couple of songs here. And one of them talks about in my Father's house. And I think of these organizations as being a place that is my Father's house, someplace where they can be safe, somewhere can find what you need, a friend, a helping hand. Might have been raised on the block, might have wandered here from far. No matter where you come from, no matter who you are, don't need no ID, you don't need no membership card. Don't you know you're always welcome in my Father's house? Might be a child of the street, might be a rich man's son. No matter what you're doing, no matter what you've done, when you got nowhere to hide and you got nowhere to run, you know you're gonna find shelter in my Father's house. discouraged and misery has no end. When you need a helping hand and no one's there to lend. When you're down on your knees, asking, begging for a friend. Don't you know you're gonna find one in my Father's house? When you're mistreated in this world, like a stranger in your own land, and the chains around your heart are just too much to stand. Heaven's just a word, and hell is close at hand. Come and lay your burden down. Yes, in my Father's house. Lay your burden down. In my Father's house. Come and lay your burden down in my Father's house. Angela's going to lead this one out.
This is our last number. Thank you again so much for coming this evening. I'm going to give another shout out to Curry on vocals, Tommy on guitar. I am Celeste Angela Alberton, and this is our final number for tonight.
I'm going to be coming around here. Larry, I'm looking for you. You're going to be singing here in just a minute. And let's see, we're going to have Richard. He's going to sing, and Ruthie too.
Don't spoil the surprise.
And we'll get Roger there too. Yeah, he's got a nice voice. And we'll get some other people to do some singing on this one. I was down for so long. Everything I did was wrong. Yes, and I found fault with everyone but me. Hurt and alone, could not find my way home. Broke down and hungry, too tired to even moan. Then I heard somebody calling my name. Ain't no need to be ashamed. I found fault, the door was always open. Okay. I was trapped in my mind, a prisoner of my own design, lost in a world, great big world of confusion. There by myself, got no help from anyone else. Thought I'd call up the hotline, but there was nobody there. Then I heard somebody calling my name. Floyd McGregor.
Hey.
Ain't no need to be ashamed.
Okay. I heard
I
some
found out the door was
always
open.
open.
One more time. One more time. I
Heard somebody calling my name.
Ain't no need to
To
be
be
ashamed.
ashamed.
I found out the door
Was always open. Yeah.
Give him a hand, yeah.
Getting into it. Let somebody call
Well done.
my name.
Ain't no need to be ashamed.
Yeah.
'Cause I found out the door was always open. Heard somebody
Calling my name,
Ain't no need to be
ashamed.
I found
Out
out
the door
was always
open.
Yeah, that was early. Yeah, well done.
Heard somebody calling my name.
Ain't no need to
Be ashamed.
I
Found out the door was finally open.
Yeah.
My name.
Ain't no need to say. I found out the door was always open. Heard somebody calling my name. Ain't no need to be ashamed. I found out the door was always open. Heard somebody calling my name. Ain't no need to be ashamed. I found out the door was always open.
Then I heard somebody calling
My name. Ain't no need to be ashamed. I found out the door was always open.
Somebody calling my name.
Ain't no need to be ashamed. I found out the door was always open.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. You've been very well behaved. You each deserve a medal very nicely. Give generously to these organizations that are really our Father's house, and the door is always open. You want to say something? Pastor Steve, you want to say a final word? Very good. Thank you. Give generously or hang around. We'll talk. We'll just continue this if you like. Sorry.